and it is indeed my honor to introduce today's keynote speaker. 3 years ago, Mayor Tommy Battle was reelected to his second term in a landslide, securing over 80% of the vote and continuing a long trend of stable government, local government. Tommy Battle is only the 7th Huntsville mayor in the last 89 years. Stability in local government matters. When Moody and Standard & Poor's are setting your bonding rating, stability is one of the most important measures that they consider. The really good news in that regard is that Mayor Battle has announced that he's running for a third term. The printed biography in the program on your table includes the details regarding the mayor's birthplace and early career, but it's his leadership in our economic development success that I'd like to focus on today. The mayor has announced more than 9,000 new jobs for our region over the past 3 years, including marquee companies like Remington, Polaris, and just 2 weeks ago, GE. He has also led initiatives to help this region capitalize on its capabilities in the geospatial, cyber, and energy industries that will pay tremendous dividends in the future. He has invested significant time meeting with existing business to explore ways to help them be more successful and grow their businesses here, and he's met with many companies encouraging them to consider opening an office here in Huntsville. Over the last 7 years, we have seen the most prolific period of growth in Redstone Arsenal's history. Today, the Arsenal and the city are partners in the development of a new business park that will sustain the region's growth for years to come. The city of Huntsville has been awarded AAA bond ratings for the last 7 years, a claim that a very, very small fraction of cities in this country can boast. And yet, even with all of these accomplishments, he's remained humble to the core, a servant leader who would rather give than receive the credit. Now please help me welcome Huntsville's Mayor, Tommy Battle.
It's always good to have a crowd stand at the front, and then you don't have to worry about the rest of it. The guys at my breakfast table this morning said you ought to just do thumbs up, say we're in good shape, then sit down. And I said, well, they'd think I was Senator Shelby at that point. But I really want to say to y'all and to Rose, thank you. And we want to thank our partners with the Huntsville-Madison County Chamber of Commerce. They are really partners in economic development. This group kind of stays in the shadows, but is always a mainstay of our economic recruitment. And Chip, the job that y'all do on a day-to-day basis is fantastic. Thank you for that job. To Troy Trulock, our partner, to Dale Strong, who's not here, who's also our partner, to the County Commission, who is our partners, are all significant partners in our team. And to each of you who are out there, your support of this chamber is something that you don't find in other cities. And by you supporting this chamber, funding this chamber, making sure that this chamber moves forward, we're able to work on workforce development. We're able to work on economic development. We're able to work on job strategies. And that's one of the things that keeps us moving forward. I've seen y'all sitting out here for Senator Shelby and Senator Sessions. I've seen you sit here with Congressman Brooks and listen to all of us talk, to myself and Dale Strong. And I'm not really sure if you're just great patriots or if you're long-suffering or if you're just good sports, but thank you for being here. But we're also, this is a day I get to talk about the city and the city that I love. This is a thing I get to talk about today. And as your mayor, I've told you repeatedly that Huntsville is special because of our partnerships. The way we work together, the way we collaborate, the hard work we put into day-to-day operations. And part of the people who put in that hard work and are dedicated to this city are the employees and the elected leaders of this city. And I want to thank my colleagues on the city council for being here, my administrative team, the department heads, and all the city employees who work tirelessly to serve us. And I want to say I salute you. And I would like to ask that they please stand so we can give them a round of applause, because they are the ones who are the true champions. Beyond Dale and Troy, we also have regional partners from surrounding counties, from Limestone County, Morgan County, Jackson County, Marshall County, even into Tennessee, into Lincoln County. All these are partners in the success that is what we call Huntsville. To our partners in the state and federal government, Congressman Brooks, thank you for being here and thank you for your service. Patrick Schurman, thank you for your service. You have been a dynamite director of Marshall Space Flight Center, done a great job. And to General Mann, sir, thank you for your service. And to the First Lady of Redstone Arsenal, you make a difference. You're out there every day making a big difference in this area. And I'd love for us to give them a round of applause. As we talk about partnerships, all those partnerships come together and they make for an incredibly great year for us. Team Huntsville is on the move. The final bit of thanks I want to give is the most important bit of thanks to my wife, Eula, who celebrated a landmark birthday without me here because I was on a recruiting trip. It cost me a trip to Napa Valley and some bling, but thank you for being there time and time again. And to my family, Drew and Lauren, my dad, Tom Battle, who is one of my biggest advocates and one of the champion campaigners for the Tommy Battle re-elections. Thank you for being here. I want to thank you for all that you've done. And thank you for providing the chance for me to seek a third term. Thank you for being here. You know, this is my 7th State of the City address, and when you start doing your 7th State of the City address, you start thinking about where we started years ago. 7 years ago, we've made some great accomplishments, and we've made some great accomplishments over that 7-year period. But all those accomplishments have been made together. Those accomplishments have been made as Team Huntsville. It's not been one person doing it, it's been a lot of people doing it. And I look across this whole crowd here, and you see leadership across this group that makes a difference in this area. We have some of the finest leadership I think you can find anywhere in the country. We have a lot to celebrate. In the last 5 years, this team has created 15,000 new jobs and over $1.5 billion in capital investment, and we're not done yet. Just last week, GE Aviation announced that it would invest $200 million in Huntsville and build 2 advanced manufacturing plants that employ 300 highly skilled workers. Wow, that is something. Even better, these facilities will mass produce silicon carbide materials for ceramic matrix composite components. Now, as a mayor 2 years ago when we started talking to them and they told us that they were going to make silicon carbide materials for ceramic matrix composite components, I did what good mayors do. I pursed my lips a little bit, put them tightly together, and I nodded. And then we started looking into the research, and we said, what happens when you produce silicon carbide materials for ceramic matrix composite components? And as we looked at it, we found through research that, boy, this is a dynamic technology. It's a game changer, not only in aerospace, aviation, and missiles, but the applications that we haven't begun to imagine yet. These composites are highly valued for their lightweight, strength, resistance to wear, and their ability to stand up to intense heat. And this is the first production facility of its kind in the world. And GE's decision to locate here positions Huntsville as a global leader in cutting-edge technology. A great, great accomplishment for this area. GE Aviation chose Huntsville for all the right reasons. many of the same reasons as did Polaris and Remington, for the reasons Boeing, Toyota, SES, and many other Huntsville companies continue to invest and expand. It's our well-educated, highly skilled workforce, strong infrastructure, good schools, low cost of living, and high quality of life. These are the reasons we have so many successes. Again, well-educated, highly skilled workforce, strong infrastructure, good schools, low cost of living, and a high quality of life. That's what makes us a success. For those that read the recent Bloomberg article, and there's articles outside, if you didn't have one, you can pick one up on the way out. It named Huntsville as one of the most unlikely cities to power the U.S. economy. Now, where we might have been an unlikely city, we still powered the U.S. economy. But the writer summed it up best. He said, people move here because life is better. Why is life better? Because Huntsville ranks in the top 15% of cities in the nation with residents holding a bachelor's degree or higher. Why is life better? Because we have the highest ratio of engineers than anywhere else in the U.S. Life is better because 17% of our workers hold STEM jobs. Life is better because our cost of living index tracks 10% less than the national average and 30% less than our major competitors on the East and West Coast. Life is better because even the cost of renting space and operating a business here averages 30% less than the national figure. And that's something we use time and time again when we sell to people to come to this area. We're among one of the top 10 fastest growing cities in the Southeast and the 35th fastest growing metro in the country. There's an energy and there's an excitement here in Huntsville. I guess you could tell it by the way that I talk about it. But things are happening right now. Tower cranes are coming back downtown with Avenue and breaking ground soon at City Center. Big picture plans are shaping the outcomes in the way we think about development and how our city lives and breathes. Schools are doing the hard work of reimagining the best they can be. Thanks to everyone's collective vision and strategic planning, our economy is better diversified, broader, and deeper than ever before. In a town known for its federal ties, that is important. Redstone Arsenal, gentlemen, Redstone Arsenal remains an important driver, and we are not afraid of that, and we are not apologetic about that. We have worked hard, many of us in this room, to leverage the intellect and talent that stems from Redstone to expand our economic base, and that has helped expand our economic base, and it's working. Redstone itself has diversified. When you look at Redstone Arsenal today, not only is it home for a wide variety of defense agencies, it's also home to NASA, Patrick, to the Department of Justice, FBI, and alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. And in fact, there are 72 different tenants located out on Redstone Arsenal today. The Arsenal is responsible for $50 billion in annual contracts, and its agencies manage budgets totaling $123 billion. From material management, space operations, missile defense, research and development, test and engineering, to intelligence and homeland defense. We are very proud of our Team Redstone portfolio. Thank you for all that y'all do for our community. Across the highway from Redstone Arsenal, Cummings Research Park just celebrated its 50th anniversary. And the park is now home to 300 companies, 29,000 workers, and they work in many of the same areas as Redstone Arsenal: research and development, biotech, aerospace and defense, engineering, software design, and computers and electronics. Huntsville is already planning the park's next 50 year with a new master plan, and Aaron Koshut is leading that effort. Where's Aaron? Aaron, you're here somewhere? Thank you for the job you're doing. But part of that means that we need to stay viable. We need to meet a changing marketplace at Redstone Arsenal. With the success of the urban infills that we've had downtown, the success like Twickenham Village, what if we took that and we transferred that model and located it at Research Park? What if we did something that would stimulate Research Park in the same way the urban infills stimulated downtown? It's an idea that we're looking at, and an idea that has a lot of promise. This is Huntsville. When we start looking at things, we start tackling challenges, and we take on opportunity. We take opportunities and we take them head on. We're never resting on yesterday's laurels. As somebody once said, yesterday is history, we live in today. As a result of all our successes, people are looking at us, and these are people from other cities. Other cities from states across the nation are looking at Huntsville, and they're asking, what's the magic potion? Why is Huntsville successful when we're not? What are y'all doing that's very special? And as they look at us, now we don't have to be naive about this, they're coveting what we have. They would love to have what we have, and they would love to emulate our success. Other cities are coming to study our economic development strategies and our financial structure. Other cities are coming to study our big picture planning process, our research park, and our ability to put politics aside and get things done as Team Huntsville. Other cities are coming to study our changes in our city schools to see how we're transforming an educational system that had pockets of excellence to one that is technologically advanced, where every child has equal access to a high-quality education. What that means to me, and what that means to all of us in Huntsville, is that we have to stay on top of our game. Competition is fierce, and it's only going to get stronger. In every competition, there's a winner and a loser. Our job is to make sure that Huntsville wins. Our basic strategy hadn't changed in the past 7 years. We're rooted in a fiscally conservative practices, and we believe in maintaining a balanced budget, something I'm exceptionally proud of in City Hall. And I want to thank my partners on the City Council for sharing this belief and supporting a lean government. At the same time, though, we've taken a thoughtful yet aggressive approach to landing the right businesses for our communities, the right businesses that are job multipliers, the right businesses that add to a quality of life. We've had regional landmark stores locate here, Whole Foods and Cabela's, and they are retail sales multipliers. The idea with Whole Foods is you may go shop at Whole Foods, then you may go to Parkway Place, and then you're a retail sales multiplier. If you go to Cabela's, you may go to Cabela's, you may go to Bridge Street, you're a retail sales multiplier. And then we're looking for industrial employers who are job multipliers. We have worked to make smart choices and choices that have a good return on investment. Our strategy includes a great emphasis on reinvestment, putting resources towards our central core, projects that revitalize the Parkway and University Drive, projects that lift neighborhoods, that promote wellness and play, and that enhance our quality of life. Our strategy is to revitalize our older urban areas. Look at the energy that's happened. Here's an example of what happens when you revitalize an older urban area. In West Huntsville, spurred by the continued expansion of Low Mill, Jim Hudson, thank you for doing that. We appreciate all that you've done for that. But from the expansion of Low Mill and the transformation of 2 schools, one into Campus 805, an entertainment venue, and the other into Huntsville's West co-working space for innovation, we've added a new neighborhood markets moving in. Merrimack Village earned historic status. Jim Merritt Park opened. A new aquatic center is underway. Morris Elementary is getting a stunning new campus, a revitalizing strategy that turns around areas of your town. Planners are working on a revitalization strategy in South Huntsville to create a town center on the Grissom High site. We'll use that same revitalization strategy in North Huntsville to reimagine the Johnson High property and a library learning center on Sparkman Drive. The addition of Whole Foods and its retail center is spurring a revitalization strategy as new businesses take a fresh look at the area of Bob Wallace and the Parkway. The same is true in North Huntsville. We will be revitalizing with new retailers coming in, including At Home and Hibbett's. Now look at something that really needs revitalizing, Madison Square Mall. The new owners are working with the city, and they're thinking out of the box, and they're working on new and different possibilities that will include live, work, and play destination, maybe an urban infill project. The idea behind Madison Square Mall is we get a twofer out of it. Number one, we get to re-energize Research Park East because it bounds Research Park East on the north, and we also get to re-energize our retail quarter there on 72. That is very important to us. We're also revitalizing areas in downtown Huntsville. The Avenue is changing our skyline and re-energizing our older downtown site, which used to be a gravel parking lot. And next year, this gateway site will offer more retail and dining options and will be home to hundreds of residents and a likely mix of millennials and mature workers. As the avenue goes up, City Center will be breaking ground. And this development along the new Dr. Joseph Lowry Boulevard will revitalize this urban area with more live, work, and play. So what happens when you revitalize an area? Next week, UG White opens a retail store in the historic building in Clinton Avenue, and we're looking forward to that opening. The big picture conversation is also taking on the revitalization and has us looking at the Holmes Avenue corridor and its direct connection from Cummings Research Park through UAH to Five Points, a perfect opportunity for a multimodal renovation that is bike and pedestrian friendly. My planners over there are very excited about that. You can live downtown, ride your bike to Hudson Alpha, or catch a shuttle bus. These are ways we can make our community better and make our community more livable. That strategy of revitalizing. But beyond the strategy of revitalizing, we also have the strategy of partnering. Our strategy has us partnering with business to build a more dynamic Huntsville. Our goal is to target opportunity sites in every area of the city. So as Huntsville grows, we strengthen that core. Our mandate is healthy growth, smart growth, growth that is measured and incremental. We will not grow exponentially. We will not outgrow our infrastructure, something very important for a community. We've seen too many communities across the Southeast who have let themselves grow so fast that they have outgrown their infrastructure. Huntsville's prized quality of life depends upon a strong infrastructure, and that's part of the partnership. That's why we asked the state of Alabama to partner with us on a $250 million road package in Restore Our Roads. At our recommendation, the City Council approved a 1-cent sales tax to pay for road work and for economic development, and that is exactly what we're doing. Huntsville is actively engaged in constructing nearly $1.5 billion, billion with a B, on critical new network on an accelerated timeline. And that has our engineers working very hard and many of our city people working overtime. Thank you for the work y'all are doing. But when we started talking about investing in roads, it was a tough move, but it was a tough move that we could not afford not to take. We have more than 110,000 people commuting in and out of Huntsville every day, coming in to work in Huntsville and going out to another community. Our daytime population swells to 500,000 people. Our transportation network is central to our success. That 18-minute average commute to and from work that I talk about all the time, that 18-minute average commute is vital to our growth. When Polaris came in, Ed Heffernan said, we asked him, what was the magic that made y'all finally decide on Huntsville? They looked at 112 sites. Ed Heffernan said, we looked at your 10-year capital plan. I said, really? I thought only insomniacs looked at our 10-year capital plan. And he said, no, we looked at your 10-year capital plan and we saw what you are reinvesting in your community. And if you would reinvest what you're showing on that 10-year capital plan in this community, your community will be a good investment for us. We'll invest $200 million in a facility if you will reinvest that much money into this community, and our investment will be sound for years to come. That's something very important. But beyond roads, and we talk about roads all the time, infrastructure demands also include the power of a gigabit broadband community and the endless possibilities associated with high-speed internet. Last year, I announced that we would seek information from companies interested in developing a fiber network. More than 11 companies responded. As we work through this process, our goal is to, number one, provide a high-speed internet at an affordable cost for all businesses and residences. The gig network supports a growing remote workforce, and that growing remote workforce means that you can work from home and actually work here in Huntsville. It also fuels a creative class, and it gives birth to many new startup companies. Huntsville is a town of tinkers, thinkers, dreamers, and doers. We have the sons and daughters of engineers who pioneered space travel, like Peyton McNully. And Peyton moved back to Huntsville and he wanted to work at Hudson Alpha, but Peyton wasn't really sure how he would fit in. He liked bioscience, which was good, but he also liked beer. And we tried to say, how do you put bioscience and beer together? Isn't that right, Rick? We did ask that. So he conceived a company that makes yeast for craft brews, the first of its kind east of the Mississippi. His company, Levendary, is successfully operating today at Hudson Alpha. And entrepreneurship is not only in our high-tech areas. The food movement has taken off, complete with brewers and bakers and popsicle makers. You can see them at Green Street Market on Thursday nights. Jason Lafferty's Busterant food truck has a new bus sauce, which will soon be in grocery stores. Jay Short's Holla Holla Relish is in Whole Foods. Where's Jay? Congratulations, Jay. But entrepreneurs Antonio Montoya, Brandon Cruz, and Kim and Larry Lewis have created successful startups. Now they're mentoring innovators and encouraging investors through Rocket Hatch, Huntsville West Co-working, and BizTech. Dreamers and doers add energy and excitement to our city.
Huntsville just creates that environment where everybody wants to succeed, and there's nothing here that would stop you from doing that. You've got some of the smartest people in here, you've got some of the lowest cost of living, so it's everything that you would need to get that environment energized to be able to want to go out and try whatever your passion is.
I had a chance to move many different parts of the country, and so did my team, and what we found in Huntsville was a very unique combination of opportunities.
So I started a multinational telecom company from my basement and serviced customers all over the world, none of which were in Alabama. So where you're at, especially in today's age in business, really doesn't matter as much as it did in the past.
There is a family dynamic that you're able to keep in Huntsville where you can work insanely hard and be 10 minutes away from your house.
I would always say, you know, when the kids leave my daycare and they go to kindergarten, the kindergarten teacher's gonna say, oh my God, where did you come from? You know, and I always wanted, you know, oh, you came from just for the kids' daycare? Oh, those kids are smart over there.
I grew up in Texas, and so being from Texas, jalapenos was my thing, and so we do a jalapeno-based product that people are really loving right now. As people have gotten older, as the baby boomers are coming up, our palates have changed. They really want something to really give them a little kick. And so I think it's great to see all the different people that are, you know, that are now getting into the food business.
I was just doing a lot of market research and just nobody was really stepping in to kind of bring the little spice this town needed. Best seller is the Clint Eastwood tacos, this little smoked brisket, queso and pico, and our bus sauce, which is about to be in some grocery stores here pretty soon.
We felt we were at the crest of the wave of bringing great craft beer to Alabama, and turns out we are, you know, one of the top handful of breweries that started. I think that, you know, the brewing industry does a great job of, you know, exciting people and saying, hey, you know, they have breweries down there, so they must be on the cutting edge.
I think Huntsville has done a very good job for young professionals of providing venues and outlets for them to plug in and be a part of the community.
From a city government standpoint, I think keeping the bureaucracy low, kind of staying out of the way of the group, encouraging activity, but making it easy for people who want to start the business to be able to start a business in Huntsville.
Ultimately, it's very simple. We bring a table. We bring the table where people can sit at the table and then get connected. Getting them connected with mentors, getting them connected with capital, getting them connected with other entrepreneurs that can serve as inspiration.
Sometimes with our government background, we feel like everything is kind of top secret, and so we kind of all carry our own little business in our own briefcase and never open it up and share it with people. But I think the more that we can have community conversations about what each of us are doing and collaborating across different lines, that just strengthens the community.
You got to have the people that are interested in starting a business and coming in, and they've got to have the fire to want and passion to want to do these things. But there's got to be an atmosphere set up, and it comes from the top. I think from the leadership that shows that we will help make the opportunities work for you.
Capital investment is what it's going to take, but I think most people that have an idea, they may just need a little seed money to actually just to get started, to get going.
Because it seemed like when we first started out, you know, you have a lot of doors slammed in your face, and then all of a sudden you come to somebody that says, hey, I'm not gonna slam the door in your face, come through the door.
Arthur Orr passed a crowdfunding law last year that allows the individual to invest in startup companies up to $5,000 per company per year, and a company can raise up to $1 million. I think we need to be taking advantage of that.
The beautiful thing about what scientists and engineers do is they adapt. They adapt their skill sets for whatever problem that they're trying to work on. And so if there are founders that create companies and create problems, there's a large pool of scientists and engineers in the community that they can bring in to attack those problems.
So first of all, you've got a range of expertise already in place, looking from engineering to mathematics to computers, which if you think about medicine, where we're reading 6 billion pieces of data on every single patient, it requires putting those pieces together. So it's here.
Choosing to diversify, not because we have to, but because we can, and because we have all these advantages. If we can do that, that'll be pretty smart. Not many cities can do that.
You're 2 introductions away from your next business. You don't know it yet, but you are. That's Huntsville.
Talent, isn't it? It's amazing to look at the talent. This outstanding talent, there's 2 takeaways to come with this. Number 1, it may not cost as much as we think to start up many of these new businesses, but it does take someone saying yes. And 2, that Huntsville needs to pay attention to our talent so we don't lose them to other cities where seed money may be easier to get and where somebody else may be saying yes. You know, whether these innovators are coding a new app, crafting a new must-have beer, cooking, or creating a new company, Huntsville is doing more than ever to foster entrepreneurship. Let's keep it going. Our schools and universities are doing their part. UAH's Invention to Innovation Center is establishing a job-creating business incubator. A&M was named a Geospatial Center of Excellence. Community colleges are training future business owners, and they're working directly with the State Department, State Commerce to support workforce development. In Huntsville, we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to succeed, and that success begins in our city schools. The city is spending $200 million on high-quality facilities that provide bright, modern environments for learning, schools that our students and our teachers will be proud to attend. The curriculum is stronger than ever, technology is integrated, and new programs are student-centered. Expanding pre-kindergarten is helping our youngest students enter school ready to learn, while the freshman academics in the new college academy guide students towards higher learning. Students participate in robotics and cyber teams and build green power cars, focused on the most important outcomes that they come out college ready and career ready. My thanks to the school board and Dr. Casey Wardensky for their partnership. You've done a great job. You know, education is the foundation of our quality of life, and we've got to have a great education system. But for the next decade and more, quality of life will define the most desirable cities. Authentic cities where citizens feel a sense of pride and belonging, where they know that the important aspects of their life, their family, work, and security, are facilitated by civic infrastructure. The best talent and the smartest workforce and the job multipliers, they have a choice where they're going to live. They can live in Seattle, Silicon Valley, they can live in the Beltway, in Boston, in Nashville, or New York. These millennials are the ones that are very important to us because they're job multipliers. They will settle in the cities that offer a high quality of life. The high quality of life includes good schools and education resources, high-speed internet and wireless access, cities that are walkable, bikeable, and beautiful public spaces, thriving cultural arts, recreation, public transit, and low commute times. Innovation will be a factor too. Support for those dreamers and doers who make our city unique. They're the ones who make the widgets, and those widgets become a company, and that company hires people, and that becomes an industry. Those are the people we have to attract in Huntsville. A lot of times we have that question mark, how do we pay for it? How do we pay for a quality of life? Some of the parks and greenways, bike trails, and other projects are budgeted in our long-term capital plan. Others are made possible through public-private partnerships. But we have a well-established practice of cost sharing and joint ventures with civic partners. Propes Arena was a cost sharing with civic partners. Smith Concert Hall was a cost sharing with civic partners. This cost sharing with civic partners is what's going to allow us to pay for future quality of life issues. This year, we're going to cost share with Barrett Museum, with Constitution Village, and Botanical Gardens, Paula. We will. Industry, retail, and urban infill developments are even more challenging in the partnership areas. Joint partnerships. They're often complex and involve a lot of different partners, and they can take years to realize. An example of a joint partnership is Twickenham Square, which has been a highly successful game changer for our Central Core. It's a good model for modern, multi-use urban infill. We had some great partners, but boy, it was a complicated process with multiple developers, multiple property owners, multiple tenants, and of course, multiple lawyers. It was very complicated to put together. Another joint partnership was Restore Our Roads. Also involved numerous federal, state, regional, and local leaders, including our legislature who helped us out. And plus, we also had more lawyers involved in that for public involvement. Also, industrial projects can take years to negotiate. We negotiated GE for 2 years. They require buy-in. Each of these industrial projects require buy-in and participation from the governor's office, from the State Department of Commerce, from TVA, and a host of regional and governments and agencies, along with property owners, financial institutions, and of course, who's going to guide it through but a whole cadre of lawyers. Sometimes I always say, what do you call a whole cadre of lawyers? A very expensive billing. My point here, though, is that these projects aren't getting any easier. They're time-consuming, they're demanding, and they require great skill and resourcefulness, patience. They require trust. They require collaboration. But this is where Team Huntsville excels. We are focused on our community needs. We value partnerships and understand that they are critical to our future and long-term success. If politics comes into play, we work to put the greater good of this city above personal differences. These projects would not happen if we did not have an A-plus team, and many of that A-plus team is sitting out here in this audience today. It's a delicate balance, being mayor, running a city. We work hard for jobs and growth. We align our education system with our workforce needs. We advance our scientific and technology network. We revitalize our older areas of town while making sure that our infrastructure is up to the task. We work on north, south, east, and west Huntsville and work on it on a constant basis, but it is a delicate balance. And as I've said, when we look around, competition is fierce. There's somebody out there who wants what we have. And so when we look down at it, the bottom line is the best talent and the smartest workforce will be attracted to the cities that offer the highest quality of livability. And we will do that. We will do that here in Huntsville. At the end of the day, government doesn't make a city great. People do. Our job is to provide opportunities so that the people of Huntsville can do what they do best, innovate and create, and provide a good life for their families. Thank you for all that you do for Huntsville, and thank you for allowing me the great privilege of being your mayor. Thank you for coming out today.